Hello everyone! Today we're diving into some of the best roguelike or roguelite games of all time, updated for 2025. From timeless classics that define the genre to fresh new releases that keep pushing it forward, this list has something for everyone. Well, let's get into the list. At first glance, Roboquest looks like just another colorful roguelite shooter. Fast action, bright visuals, a bit of chaos, the kind of game you might try once and forget. But once you get into it, it's surprisingly packed and super fun. This game has been around for a while, about 3 years in early access, which means the devs had plenty of time to polish it up, and honestly, it shows. Everything from the movement to the shooting feels smooth and satisfying. In addition to that, you can play solo or with a friend in co-op. It's fun either way, though honestly, things get so hectic that you'll mostly just end up shouting random noises instead of strategizing. Monster Train 2 doesn't try to reinvent anything, and honestly, it doesn't need to. The first game was already one of the best deck-building roguelikes out there, and this sequel just builds on that greatness in all the right ways. It keeps the same core idea, a tower defense-style card battler where you place your monsters across 3 floors to defend your train from waves of enemies. But this time, instead of going down into hell, you're traveling up from hell to a corrupted heaven. The setup feels fresh, but the gameplay still feels like the Monster Train we know and love. Skul the Hero Slayer is one of those games that looks simple at first, but the more you play, the more it hooks you. It's a fast-paced 2D action roguelite where you play as Skul, a tiny skeleton warrior taking on an army of heroes who invaded the Demon King's castle. The main thing that makes Skul exciting is its transformation system. Instead of just leveling up or finding weapons, Skul can swap his skull to change into different forms, each with its own look, powers, and playstyle. There are over 30 different skulls, and discovering new ones feels awesome. Shape of Dreams is a fast-paced action roguelite that mixes hack-and-slash combat with MOBA-style gameplay, all set in a mysterious dream world that changes shape as you fight through it. You can pick from 8 different travelers, each with their own fighting style, from quick melee fighters to long-range mages, and play either solo or with up to 3 friends in co-op. The interesting thing is that the game was made by Korean studio Lizard Smoothie and published by NeoWiz, the same team behind Lies of P, so yeah, that's already a pretty good sign. Crypt of the NecroDancer isn't your typical dungeon crawler. It's a game that takes the intensity of roguelike combat and mixes it with rhythm-based gameplay, meaning every move you make has to be perfectly timed to the beat of the music. You play as a character named Cadence, exploring randomly generated dungeons full of traps, treasures, and enemies, all bouncing along to the same killer soundtrack. That's what makes Crypt of the NecroDancer so fun and unique. It's not just about reacting fast, it's about feeling the rhythm. You'll find yourself nodding your head or tapping your foot while dodging skeletons, goblins, and dragons, all while trying to keep your groove going. Returnal is everything you would expect from a AAA roguelike, and trust me, it's intense. What makes Returnal so exciting is how smooth and fast the gameplay feels. The movement, the dodging, the shooting, it's all incredibly fluid. You're constantly sprinting, dashing, and jumping while fighting alien creatures that come at you with glowing projectiles flying in every direction. It's like a mix between bullet hell and sci-fi horror, and it looks amazing in motion. And man, the atmosphere in this game is something else. The visuals are stunning. Combined with the eerie sound design and haunting soundtrack, it keeps you on edge the whole time. Nuclear Throne is a top-down shooter where you blast your way through a wasteland full of mutants, robots, and all kinds of wild creatures, and in every run feels intense from start to finish. You pick from a bunch of different characters, each with their own unique powers. Some can teleport, some can go invisible, and others just smash everything in sight. What makes Nuclear Throne exciting is how fast and unforgiving it is. There's no time to relax. Enemies come at you non-stop, and one small mistake can end your run instantly. But that's what makes it so satisfying when you survive just a little longer, or make it one stage further than before. Gunfire Reborn mixes fast-paced FPS action with roguelite progression, and the result is pure fun and chaos. You play as these cool animal-like heroes, each with their own unique powers and playstyles. As you play, you collect random weapons and upgrades that can completely change how your build works. One run, you might be blasting everything with lightning guns, and the next, you're freezing enemies or throwing explosions everywhere. Plus, the game looks great. It has this colorful, cel-shaded art style that makes every explosion and particle effect pop off the screen. And if you think it's good solo, try it with friends. The co-op takes the chaos to a whole new level. Into the Breach is a turn-based strategy roguelike from the creators of Faster Than Light, and instead of commanding a big army, you control just 3 mechs trying to protect the world from giant alien bugs. What makes Into the Breach exciting isn't big explosions or flashy effects. It's the strategy. Every turn feels like solving a small puzzle. The game shows you exactly what the enemies will do next, so your job is to figure out how to stop them in the most efficient way possible. What's also cool is that even though it's turn-based, the tension feels constant. There's no luck or randomness here, just your decisions and how clever you can be under pressure. Cult of the Lamb is one of the strangest, funniest, and most addictive roguelite games you can play, and I mean that in the best way possible. You play as a cute little lamb who gets sacrificed only to be brought back to life by a dark god. Now it's your job to start your own cult in his name. Yeah, it's as wild as it sounds. What makes Cult of the Lamb exciting is how it mixes 2 very different genres together: dungeon crawling and base building. Half the time, you're out there fighting monsters, collecting materials, and rescuing followers. The other half, you're back at your camp, building your cult from the ground up. You'll be cooking meals, holding sermons, and sometimes re-educating followers who start doubting you. Caves of Qud is one of the most fascinating traditional roguelikes you'll ever play. On the surface, it might look like a simple old-school RPG with pixel graphics, but underneath, it's this insanely detailed world full of strange creatures, sci-fi mysteries, and endless possibilities. You start off by creating your own character, and I mean really creating it. You can be a mutant with extra arms, psychic powers, or even the ability to talk to plants. The amount of customization is crazy, and it's what makes every run feel totally different. What makes Caves of Qud so exciting is how alive the world feels. The storytelling isn't handed to you. It's built through exploration, choices, and the crazy situations you get yourself into. Buckshot Roulette is one of those games that sounds simple until you realize how tense and chaotic it actually gets. Imagine Russian roulette, but with a shotgun. You sit across the table from this creepy dealer in a smoky, dimly lit room. There's a single shotgun, a handful of shells, and your life on the line. Each round, you load shells into the gun. Some are blanks, some are live, and you take turns pulling the trigger. You can shoot yourself, shoot the dealer, or use special items to mess with the odds. And that's what makes Buckshot Roulette so exciting. It's all about risk, mind games, and tension. Every decision feels like a gamble. Noita is one of the most unique and unpredictable roguelikes you'll ever play. You play as a little wizard exploring a pixel-based world where every single pixel is simulated. The coolest part about Noita is how creative you can get. Your spells aren't just preset attacks, they're fully customizable. You can mix different effects, chain them together, and end up making insane weapons. One moment you're casting simple fireballs, and the next, you've created a death laser that bounces around the cave, sometimes killing enemies, sometimes accidentally killing you. And that's the beauty of it. You never know what kind of spells you'll find or what disasters you'll cause. Inscryption is one of those games that messes with your head. You start out trapped across the table from a shadowy figure who forces you to play his twisted version of a card game. It's dark, strange, and full of secrets. You'll collect cards made from animals, sacrifice them for stronger ones, and make tough choices just to stay alive. But that's just the surface. Inscryption hides layers upon layers of mystery underneath. What makes this game so exciting is how unpredictable it is. Every time you think you figured it out, it changes. New mechanics appear, the world shifts, and you start questioning what's real. It blends roguelike card battles, escape room puzzles, and even psychological horror into one unforgettable experience. Alright, don't let the funny look of this game fool you. Crab Champions might look goofy, but it's actually super polished and plays incredibly well, even though it's still in early access. At its core, Crab Champions is a roguelike movement shooter. Think of it as a mix between Risk of Rain's item building and the fast-paced action of Doom Eternal or Ultra Kill, but with a lighter, more chill vibe. You can play it casually on easy mode, or go for serious challenge runs if you want to test your skills. What's also cool is that this entire game is made by just one person, and it's still being updated with new content and features. Yeah, there are some small bugs here and there, but the dev is super active with the community, always taking feedback and improving the game. Alright, now we're looking back at one of the most loved older games, FTL Faster Than Light. It's a classic roguelike space adventure that many players have enjoyed for years, and honestly, it still holds up today. So what's FTL all about? You take control of a small spaceship trying to escape a massive enemy fleet that's chasing you across the galaxy. Every time you jump to a new system, that red danger zone moves closer, and if it catches you, get ready for a brutal fight. Each run is a mix of exploration, strategy, and pure chaos. Players jump from planet to planet, collecting scrap to upgrade their ships, recruit new crew members, and prepare for the tough battles ahead. You'll fix systems, put out fires, and sometimes barely survive by the skin of your teeth. Enter the Gungeon is a fast, chaotic, and ridiculously fun roguelike shooter where everything, and I mean everything, is about guns. You play as one of several quirky characters diving into the Gungeon, a massive dungeon filled with bullet-shaped enemies, crazy weapons, and tons of secrets. What makes this game exciting is how smooth and intense it feels. Every room throws you into fast-paced battles where dodging bullets is everything. The game's dodge roll mechanic is simple but so satisfying. It's that perfect mix of skill and timing that makes every close call feel awesome. On top of that, you'll find hundreds of unique guns. From serious ones like laser rifles to completely ridiculous stuff like a gun that shoots fish or one that fires rainbows, it keeps every run fresh and unpredictable. Vampire Survivors is a game that proves you don't need fancy graphics or a big budget to be completely addictive. At first glance, it looks super simple. You pick a character, walk around a field, and fight off waves of monsters. But once you start playing, you realize just how intense and satisfying it really is. The main hook is that your character attacks automatically. All you do is move around, pick up experience gems, and choose new upgrades every time you level up. It sounds easy, until the screen fills with hundreds of enemies and you're desperately trying to stay alive for just one more minute. That's what makes Vampire Survivors so exciting. It's all about that power curve, starting out weak, dodging every hit, then slowly turning into an unstoppable monster, filling the entire screen with chaos. Risk of Rain 2 is a game that perfectly mixes chaos, teamwork, and non-stop action. It's one of those roguelikes where every run feels like a brand new adventure, and things can go from calm to total insanity in just a few minutes. At its core, Risk of Rain 2 is a third-person action roguelike. You pick a character, drop onto an alien planet, and start blasting enemies while collecting items that make you stronger. The twist? The longer you survive, the harder the game gets. There's even a timer that constantly reminds you, time is your enemy. And playing with friends, that's where the game really shines. Watching everyone build their own broken combos and then fighting massive bosses together is pure chaos, but in the best way possible. Slay the Spire is a game that takes card battles, mixes them with roguelike progression, and somehow makes every run feel completely unique and addicting. In this game, you pick a hero and climb a giant mysterious tower. Each floor throws new enemies, treasures, and random events your way. The goal is to build the best deck you can and survive all the way to the top. What makes Slay the Spire exciting is how every decision matters. You start each run with a simple deck, but every battle gives you the chance to add new cards and form crazy combos. Maybe you build a poison-heavy deck, go for a block tank build, or focus on wild damage chains that destroy everything in one turn. The fun comes from experimenting. There are hundreds of cards and relics that completely change how you play. Hades is a game that somehow turns dying over and over again into one of the most fun experiences you can have. In Hades, you play as Zagreus, the son of Hades who's trying to escape the underworld. Every run, you fight through different layers of hell, battling monsters, dodging traps, and facing tough bosses, all while getting roasted by your dad for failing. What makes Hades so exciting is its flow. The combat feels fast, smooth, and incredibly satisfying. You dash, slash, cast spells, and pull off crazy combos that make you feel like a total powerhouse. Not only that, Hades actually has a deep story. Every time you die and come back, you unlock more dialogue, more character interactions, and more insight into the world. The voice acting is top-notch, and the writing is surprisingly emotional. You start to care about everyone, even your enemies. Balatro is a game that looks like a chill poker simulator at first, but it's actually one of the most addictive deck-building roguelikes out there. In Balatro, you're not just playing poker, you're building insane combos using special cards, multipliers, and jokers that completely change how each hand works. The goal is to score massive points, move through tougher blinds, and push your luck as far as you can before your run ends. And when those combos go off, it feels amazing. Watching the screen light up with multipliers and wild effects never gets old. You just keep thinking, okay, one more run, I can make it even crazier this time. Dead Cells is a game that somehow manages to be both fast, fun, and insanely addictive. Even people who don't usually like roguelikes end up loving this one. Why? Because Dead Cells isn't just for hardcore players, it's made for everyone. The real fun is in the gameplay. Dead Cells is all about fast, fluid combat. You slash, dodge, roll, and blast your way through levels that change every time you play. Each run feels different. Sometimes you'll get crazy good weapons early, other times you'll struggle, but that's part of the fun. What's really cool is how customizable Dead Cells is. You can make it as easy or as hard as you want. There are assist options that let you tweak difficulty, turn off permadeath, or even enable auto attack if you just want to chill and enjoy the ride. The Binding of Isaac Rebirth is one of those games that looks strange at first, but once you start playing, it completely pulls you in. It's a dark, fast-paced roguelike where every run feels different, chaotic, and surprisingly fun. You play as Isaac, a kid trying to escape his crazy mother by diving into a monster-filled basement. From there, the game turns into a mix of dungeon crawling, bullet hell, and collecting tons of weird items that can completely change how you play. The best part of the game is the variety. There are hundreds of items that stack in unexpected ways, so every run feels like a crazy experiment. You never know if you'll end up overpowered or stuck with something completely cursed. That unpredictability keeps players coming back again and again. Hades 2 is the sequel to one of the best roguelikes ever made. If you loved the first game, this one takes everything great about it and pushes it even further. This time, you play as Melano, the sister of Zagreus. She's a witch who's trying to take down Kronos, the Titan of Time. The best part is how much freedom you get. There are so many ways to build your character. You can mix weapons, blessings from the gods, familiars, and new systems like witchcraft and arcana cards. Every run feels like you're experimenting with something new, and it never gets boring. On top of that, the world of Hades 2 feels alive. The art looks amazing, the voice acting is great, and the music by Darren Korb gives the whole game that same epic energy the first one had. That's all for today's list. Subscribe and like for more exciting new roguelike and roguelite games. That's it, and see you next time.